Well, gents, final footy, it's upon us. How
Finally.
good is it? Finally. The season is over for 9 teams. But guys, before we get stuck into that, the Hynes suspension. What an absolute joke that was. Molly, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, just embarrassing. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he was charged for starters. I thought that was a joke. I thought he was just performing a tackle. Two guys going in opposite directions. You could hardly call Nicho Hynes a thug. He just should never have been charged. It's just embarrassing. And then the NRL realise what a mess they've made. They backflip. And yeah, the whole thing just has a bad look, a bad smell. And I've just heard in the last couple of hours actually that they're going to look into the match review panel and the whole review process over the summer. So that will be interesting because things need to change. This has happened 2 or 3 times during the season, and it's just a joke.
So what? I missed the game. Was it a penalty at the time?
I believe so. Yeah, I think he was even placed on report. But,
He was placed on report, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at it at the time. I thought there's absolutely nothing malicious in it. There's nothing vicious in it. It's just Marcelo Montoya twisted the wrong way when the two of them came together. And I think the thing that saved him, the irony of it is that saved Hynes, is that Montoya is such a big, strong athlete. If that was Sam Walker or someone, he probably would have been broken in half. And because now it's official that the charge is dependent on how badly the player's injured, and that's why Hynes got off because Montoya wasn't injured. It's just crazy. I mean, Montoya was hurt, but the injury was minimal, and the Bulldogs doctor basically saved Nicho Hynes' season. So
Yeah, I think the hip drop's clear. Like, I think it's a clear sort of rule in terms of if you lose your feet and make contact to the back of the legs. Now, in that situation, the only reason he lost his feet was because he was actually trying to chase him from behind, wasn't he? So you're going to make contact on the back of someone's legs when you're trying to make a cover tackle running behind them.
And I don't think it was actually a penalty at the time. It definitely was put on report, but he actually got up to play the ball in pain and then sort of went down, got taken off. As a result, when every player gets injured, Bunker gets involved. He was put on report.
But as sort of Molly alluded to, then you can't be charging somebody on the outcome of an injury. That should be removed from the whole
or also
process.
From an accident.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter what the injury is. Like, if it's a hip drop, it's a hip drop, whether he's injured or not. And if he's not injured, you still get charged if it's a hip drop, right? So the injury should be irrelevant, I think. And then the whole system is a shambles. It's an absolute shambles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke.
They need to do a thorough review.
Well, you can't be having the NRL going against the match review. What's the point of having a match review? And when they brought this new thing in earlier this season about that, how the NRL or the ARLC or whoever they are can overturn a match review's decision if they see fit, this was literally what was my fear was going to happen.
And is the match review committee mistakenly, if I'm wrong here, are they part ex-referees anyway?
I know Greg McCallum's on it. I'm pretty sure he's on it, who's an ex-ref, maybe a player or two. I think there's 3 or 4 people.
So it goes basically from referees on the field to referees in the bunker to then referees post-game.
Yeah.
Let's get 65 referees offering their opinion on one incident.
It's like you would hate if that is in a grand final and it potentially costs someone 10 minutes in the bin, or it's in a prelim final that potentially rubs someone out. I don't like it.
Yeah, and even now, this whole thing's not over. Like, imagine if Nicho Hynes kicks the winning field goal on, I think, whatever day they play the Roosters. The Roosters, they're not going to be happy. I bet there's a stick then. They're going to say, hey, this bloke was charged. He was going to miss a game. Now, all of a sudden, he's played and he's knocked us out of the finals.
So here's a question for you both. If that's Daniel Atkinson doing that tackle on Marcelo Montoya, does it get overturned, or is it because it was Nicho Hynes? Yeah,
Good question. Very good question.
I'm going to throw another spinner in the works, though.
No, well, seriously, like to me, I think if that's any other player, lesser player, that's just swept under the carpet and he just serves his week suspension and we all forget about it. Because it's Nicho Hynes, if it was Harry Grant, the same thing. If it was Stephen Crichton, the same thing. Payne Haas, whatever. Nathan Cleary, whatever. You know, these guys, the NRL want these guys in the finals, right? They're the draw cards. They're what's going to draw people in. So this is where it's inconsistent and wrong.
Yeah.
I think,
well,
anyway.
I think that the Sharks are a better side without Nicho Hynes. So I actually think they had a better chance of winning without him playing.
Well,
I would have kept Atkinson in there somewhere. He's been drummed because Trindle's form hasn't been great, and he comes straight back in. But I thought Atkinson was good the other day. So
they were very good. The Sharks.
The main man. He was the main man instead of Hynes. This is what I mean. Like perennial choker in finals, goes MIA most weeks. The games get hard.
You don't even try and hide your hate for Nicho Hynes anymore, do you?
No. No, honestly, you wait till you hear the predictions. I'll actually be tipping the Sharks, but that was on the proviso he was going to be out.
You wait, Nicho Hynes, man of the match. I hope you're listening, Nicho.
I think Nico's coming on for an interview next week. Now, the Knights, guys. Wooden Spoon, congratulations. Molly, did you wear that jersey on purpose tonight, or
I did, yes,
just to rub it in a bit?
A mighty Titan. I think they're deserved Wooden Spoon as the Knights. I think they've been the most consistent.
Consistently shit.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll let you guys in on a secret of a great part I got in my column this week. There's a firefighter up in Newcastle who's a mad Knights fan, and he decided at the start of the year to show his support for the team. He was going to run a kilometre for every point when they lost, as in every point for and against. So the other day, what was the score? 6-10 or something?
Yeah. So he's still running.
This week, he's got to run 56 kilometres.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Poor bloke. I bet you he's blowing up.
Well, yeah, he says, I need a break.
He'll be changing teams next year. I'll give you the tip.
But, look, I really feel for Knights fans because, I mean, they're the most loyal fans in the game, aren't they? They get smashed every week. They're lucky to score a point and a half, yet they still fill the stadium. It's I can't understand. I would have given up on them long ago, but they keep turning up. And that last game, I think they got a full house, didn't they?
Well, they just gave up.
That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, though. That was honestly at times I thought they were playing touch football.
They've got a couple of troops coming next year, though. Do you think that's going to fix them? Is it going to be good enough to get them off the bottom of the ladder? Or
I don't think the 10-year Dylan Brown deal, particularly the way Brown's gone this year, is going to be the answer. Obviously, Ponga, if they can get him on the field, if he's still there, he might not be. So.
Well, I heard today they're trying
to Union maybe.
Well,
maybe
I've heard
another club.
I heard today they're going to try and turn Sandon Smith into a hooker.
Oh, that's just a
that's apparently fact, and I can't understand it. Like they don't even have a coach yet, and they've decided that they're going to move a pretty good halfback to hooker when they haven't had a halfback all year. Like Dylan Brown's not a halfback; he's a.
Who are they playing in half? Dylan Brown.
I think Dylan Brown. Yeah,
I think they signed him to play halfback. Well, they had to have, hadn't they? Because Jack Cogger's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
He's coming back to Penrith.
Jackson Hastings is gone. They're clearing the decks. They want to get rid of Tyson Gamble. So there's 3 halfbacks gone already.
Jaden Brayley's gone. He's
Jacob Arthur's going over to England.
Yeah, I think at one stage Phoenix Crosland was half, but they've decided he's not a hooker or a half.
He's now a lock, isn't he?
Yeah.
Apparently. So that means Adam Elliott's gone. Where's he going?
And again, they're making all these decisions before they've even got a coach. So it's just bizarre.
Yeah, you watch the coach come in and move Dylan Brown to 5'8", and then Ponga might play halfback.
So, Molly, I read that Josh Hannay was actually offered the Knights job, but turned it down for because he wanted the Titans job. Did you know that?
I heard that.
Yeah, you heard that?
Maybe he just wants to live on the Goldie. I don't know. if it
was me, that'd
be a big part of it. But you look at the two teams on paper, the Goldies are a much better team.
They've got more potential for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But they haven't signed anyone for next year, though, have they?
The Titans?
No, not yet. But they've got a good side. I mean, on paper, you get them firing, you get them
maybe in attack.
Yeah, defense is a worry, but then look at Newcastle. I mean,
Hey, as long as they win 40 to 30 every week, then happy days.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
But no, good luck to the
dear.
Knights, and they're currently probably day 3 of their Mad Monday celebration. So good luck to them.
Yeah, I reckon it's still going.
Yeah, I reckon they start on Saturday, the day before the
Round out
game.
those throws. Now we just mentioned the Titans. Kudos for them for avoiding the wooden spoon. Played well actually against the Tigers. It looked like they were Gornskis after.
Well,
that
and
first half.
lifted to send off a really sort of underrated player in Kieran Foran, I reckon. I reckon
Yeah.
his career was underrated. You know, I think he was in that time when him and Cherry Evans were sort of young and Manly were making those grand final runs. I thought he was one of the premier 5'8s in the comp.
Well, there was a couple of interviews done by
Tough as
Anthony
nails.
Don. I think he's still on the staff at the Titans, and some people even said that Kieran Foran's, better than Benji Marshall when comparing the two.
Tough as nails, mate. He was tough as nails, ran the footy,
Different
copped
players.
away. Very different players. But yeah, I thought, as I said, really underrated career. Like he had to admire his toughness, and I mean, he was held together by that much tape in the last sort of 2-3 years of his career, and to sort of do that and continually show up in a team that's underperforming, I thought, kudos to him. And they
squeezed every drop out of his body, didn't he?
Yeah, and they lifted for him in the last game too. And I was also happy they lifted for Dizz, because I feel like Dizz has given his all, like he always does, and they just haven't responded to him.
And we should give the Tigers a bit of a whack, because that's 8 years in a row they've lost the last game of the season. And when the last game of the season's on the Gold Coast, I reckon there's a few of them still wandering around Cavill Avenue now. Slightly inebriated.
Wouldn't be surprised.
That second half, they weren't thinking about footy. They were thinking about, where are we going to go tonight, boys?
Yeah, exactly right. With two teams we left out there, one of them of which I think will get the spoon next year is the Dragons. I think they're in all sorts for next season. What do you boys reckon?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Who's your lock for the spoon next year? I know it's a bit early.
I haven't really thought about next year yet. Considering my lock for the spoon this year was the Raiders and they came first, I really shouldn't comment on who I think's going to win the spoon.
Yeah, maybe we should scrap that one.
Say the Broncos.
Stop embarrassing ourselves.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh dear. Now Cowboys, they were disappointing, weren't they? And so were the Rabbitohs, but they were buoyed by injuries.
Yeah,
a lot of injuries with the Rabbitohs.
They got an excuse, injuries, but yeah, the Cowboys were disappointing. They blooded a lot of young players, so that's going to leave them in good stead moving forward. But there's a couple of decisions here and there from coaching and selection that I didn't agree with, and I really think if they didn't have Scott Drinkwater or Tom Dearden on the field, they would have struggled to be competitive.
They both
probably wouldn't have won a game.
Big years, yeah, you're right, Molly. Massive years. But no, I think they got Reed Marnie going there next year, so yeah, he's going to stiffen them up defensively. We've spoken about him many a times in terms of line speed and what he brings to a team. So I think for their blooding of young players, they'll be better. They'll be better next season.
I'm going to mention one more team and then leave the last two teams. So the Seagulls, very inconsistent. Obviously, they're just a team of inconsistency all year. One week they're beating Penrith at their best. The next week, they're beating Broncos at their best. Then they go and lose to the Titans.
I just wrote their season review for Wide World of Sports, and the one thing I said was that there's a few teams in the 8 that are probably pretty glad Manly aren't there, which sort of goes with what you've said there, Diz, because they could beat anyone in their day. Not that long ago, they beat Melbourne down in Melbourne when Melbourne had most of their players in. So they're a dangerous team, a lot of strike power, a lot of speed, but I think the forwards let them down. They had a lot of injuries in the forwards. A lot of blokes, I looked at the stats, played less than 10 games. Josh Alloway, got guys like that, and they were forced to pay Takawaho up front. I don't think he was going to player
Matt Lodge
games.
played the end of the season after
Yeah,
being a
I don't
tradie
think
for the
either one
first
of them
half.
were going to be first graders, but they ended up being the mainstays because they were the last men standing. Wk1 was, I thought, was a bit disappointing. 15 games, he was injured a fair bit. Didn't seem to have the impact of previous seasons. But again, he's a bit of a David Fafita, isn't he? On his day, he's unstoppable, but he just doesn't have enough of those days.
Yeah, big time. Now, two surprise packets really for this season. First one being that Parramatta Eels finished off the season on fire once Moses sort of came back. They ended up scraping their way to 11th, and only 6 points outside the 8, which is pretty good considering they were potentially looking at another wooden spoon. But
Well, they lost 8 of their first 10, so they were never going to make the finals. But they got it together and they won 5 of their last 7. See, I'm doing my homework here.
Yeah. 10 of their last 16.
Yeah, and of those 5 wins coming into the end of the season, 3 were against teams that are in the 8. So
Broncos was one of them.
Yeah. So they're showing some potential, Para. They've built something, and a lot of young players, a lot of good.
They got some really good young players, haven't they?
Yeah, and should continue to go. And Mitchell Moses, when he's playing, I think you look at them. The reason they didn't make more of an impact is Moses only played 13 games, and I think they won something like 10 of the 13 or something. So.
And really sort of ballsy calls by Jason Riles that not many people would have agreed with in preseason and also throughout the season, particularly letting go of Gutho and then not playing Dylan Brown for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
He needs to be applauded. He needs to be applauded because I reckon the Drums were beating early on when they were, what'd you say, they lost 8 of 10, the first 10 or something?
Yeah. Well, I remember.
After round 1 when they got pumped 50-something, fair enough, it was the Storm, but I was thinking, oh, geez.
Yeah, and he made massive call after that. Dylan Brown, he left when he signed, he left him out straight away. So, and the team's responded. They've unearthed some really good young players. So they're going to be a danger next year for sure.
Yeah, and just to finish off, oh, sorry, Marlon.
Yeah, I can see them being a real contender for the 8 next year. Not top 4 material, but
bottom half of the 8.
Yeah.
Yep, big time. Now, the last team in that bottom 9 are the luckless Dolphins. I would go as far as to say that if Herbie Farmer doesn't get injured, they make the 8.
No, if they sit back, and I'm sure they have, and reflect on their season, they're probably going to reflect the game against Canberra where they were leading by plenty at halftime and they let that lead slip. There's probably one game that you can identify that because they fell a game short. They should have won.
They really did have a lot of injuries, though. You got to again look at that. Tom Flegler, he was a marquee signing. Hasn't played a game. Missed the entire season. Max Plath was a big
loss.
Daniel Saifidi halfway through.
Yeah, and again, it's the forwards. They lost 4 or 5 forwards, and it forced them to play guys they wouldn't have normally played. But the amazing thing is, and you guys probably know this, they scored more points than any team in the NRL.
They're the only team to be the top point scorer to miss the 8 ever.
Yeah, so defense is obviously the problem.
Yeah. Well, the outside backs aren't the issue, obviously, because they can score points.
Oh, yeah. The hammer scores tries for fun, doesn't he?
Well, they left their run late. Remember, they lost their first 4 games, and everyone was talking about Christian Wolf. So, you're playing catch-up. You're really playing catch-up if you go your first 4 games without a win. So, I do think they're a top 8 team, but they're just unfortunately not in the 8. Yeah. The 8 was the cutoff for the 8 was very high this year.
Yeah. The one thing about the Dolphins, I reckon they're the best team to watch in the NRL because, the hammer, Trey Fuller, Herbie when he's there. I think Herbie's the best centre in the world with Crichton. They would score tries from anywhere. And obviously Christian Wolf has just told them, go out there and do your best because they were just scoring some outrageous tries from deep inside their own half. They just got to learn the tackle.
And I reckon Isaiah Katoa might pinch the Dally M halfback of the year.
Yeah.
On the awards night. Big chance. Now, guys, let's get stuck into the finals. It is upon us now. We have the Storm versus the Bulldogs. Now, just want to quickly mention for the Bulldogs, I don't know if they've done this on purpose in the eve of the finals, and their team sort of battered with injuries of outside backs. But they've extended Kiraz, Gus Gould, and Crichton. Crichton and Gus Gould to 2031, Kiraz to 2028. What do you make of those extensions?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a sign of the stability. They've been gradually growing, the Bulldogs. I don't think they'll win the comp this year, but I reckon they'll win the comp the next couple of years. So, it's just shoring things up and getting some stability there. And, good luck to them. And Stephen Crichton, did you mention him?
Yes, Critter, yeah, Stephen Crichton.
And also Kiraz, I think. Kiraz is extended as well.
I mean, the proof's in what they've done, what Gould and Serraldo have done to lift them to a point where they're now finished third. They're going to have a red hot crack at it this year. So it made sense to re-sign those two. And in terms of Kiraz, again, makes sense. Stephen Crichton's probably the best signing they've made in the last sort of 5-6 years. I reckon he took the club to another level. So I think those were all no-brainers, really. I didn't think there was any sort of indication that any of them were going to go anywhere else but stay.
Look, I've got a bit to say on the Gus signing. Not a bit, but enough. But I reckon that he's already starting to get on the nerves of some people at the Dogs. And I reckon he's going to do what he did at Penrith and maybe overstay his tenure for a little bit. I think he's already done what he needs to do at the club and now needs to leave the club, do their thing. Because 2031 is a long way away. If he's going to stick his hands in the pies for another 5 years, I think that's going to piss a few people off.
Well, Moley would know this more than anyone, and whether he wants to reveal this to us or not, I don't know whether Gus was, as much as he's denied this on 100% footy and various other programs that he's on, whether he was the one behind the Lockie Galvin signing or not. I said this about 6 weeks ago. I think that was the nail in the coffin for the Bulldogs this year. Look at their form since he's joined. They've got Toby Sexton sitting, who took them to first on the ladder. So I don't know whether Gus was behind that. And you might be right here, Dizz, in terms of maybe he's overstaying his welcome.
The experience, I'm a Penrith fan, right? And I know that he was great for Penrith, and Penrith honestly wouldn't be where they are now if it wasn't for him. And I can say the exact same thing about the Dogs, but it gets to a point when you can tell that he's got his finger right in amongst even team selections and all that sort of stuff. Either Cameron Serraldo or some of the players are going to get annoyed at.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, does he have too much control? Again, Molly might know better than this, than us, but it kind of feels like he's the godfather of the Dogs, and this is from the outside looking in, and everything gets run by him, run through him, decisions. Now, we might be completely off the point here. Who knows?
Well, how long did he spend at the Warriors? Was it only a couple of years or not even maybe a year?
Yeah, and it was a different sort of role.
And he transformed them a little bit too, because you've seen their pathways now fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what he did at Penrith. He's already done what he needs to do at the Dogs. Like, that's it, mate. Like, stay out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see what happens in 2 or 3 years' time when Serraldo gets frustrated and wants to leave the club.
So long as they're winning and,
who cares?
Going well, it's all good. But, when things turn pear-shaped, that's when, the trouble bubbles to the surface.
That's exactly right. Now, will it turn pear-shaped this weekend, boys? They're playing the Storm in Melbourne. No Jerome Hughes.
Yeah.
Pappenhausen.
No Pappenhausen. There's also injuries galore for the Dogs. Outside backs being decimated. Montoya, Sherry, and Kiraz all out. What are we thinking for this game?
Neither have shown great form over the last couple of weeks.
No.
The big name we haven't mentioned, and it's the reason I'm going to tip the Storm, is Harry Grant's back. And he's the best dummy half in the game by lengths, and just so smart. That try in Golden Point, where everyone was looking for the field goal, and he threw the dummy a couple of weeks ago. I think that'll be one of the moments of the season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls something like that out again.
You forgot his dive, Molly. You didn't throw the dive in there.
Yes, the big dive. But yeah, I'm tipping them purely on the Harry Grant factor. He's that good a player.
So it's just interesting. I'm looking at the team list as we're chatting, and I always find the reserves very interesting. Jacob Kiraz is named in jersey 23.
Well, I was about
Alright.
to say to you, be careful with the reserves because they're flexible.
Yeah.
There's often a change or two on game day.
Toby Sexton might get a run. You never know.
And Joe Chan is named in the centres. Now you've got Jack Howarth and Marion Seve in the reserves list. You've also got Suafai Longo, who, to be honest, I would have really had a sneaky look at to potentially play fullback and leave Nick Meaney.
Well, I'm pretty sure they pulled him from Cup, anyways.
Correct.
Yeah, they did.
So they must have done it for a reason.
Yeah.
So this is the Ducks and Drakes now get played more. Look at the Broncos and Raiders team lists, for instance, when we get to them. Right, Ducks and Drakes now get played between teams and naming of teams. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of sneaky ins and outs post when they bring it down to 19, and they've got to bring it to 19 by when's this game? Friday.
Yeah, 24 hours.
24 hours beforehand, do they?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if. Well, I don't think Kiraz is named a reserve if he's not a chance to play for a start.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think they just put him there just in case, but I'd be very surprised.
Maybe they don't have enough numbers to get there.
Well, you might be right, and we might be clutching at straws here, but this is going to be a really fascinating game. I don't think either team's showing great form. I don't like the Dogs at all, but what I saw last week at the Storm, I thought they were terrible. If I'm completely honest, Cameron Munster is literally willing this team to the finish line in most games, and I just don't know how much more he can do because he's not getting a lot of help.
But again, they haven't had Grant for a couple of weeks.
And you are right. And I'm very reluctant to tip against Melbourne at home. That's sort of my general rule. It's very hard to win in Melbourne, especially in a final. They normally, when they play these qualifying finals, when they finish first or second in Melbourne, I think they almost 90% of the time go through and play to a preliminary final in Melbourne as well. So
you reckon this is going to be close?
I think this will be close, yeah. I don't think it'll be a great game, personally. I think it'll be a real scrappy game. I think both teams will play very reserved. I don't think there'll be a lot thrown.
Low scoring.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot thrown around. I don't think there'll be much risk taken. Because if you think about it, Pappenhausen's really their risk taker, isn't he? And he's out. Mick Meaney's a very solid fullback. Last week, the only way the Storm could score against the Broncos was kicking it to Warbrick or Coates. And I feel like they are just so fixated on that way to scoring and they've forgotten about everything else. So, but again, Melbourne, they lift in these situations. Bellamy has a knack of getting his team in these situations. And I'm really interested to see what the Dogs, we don't know what the Dogs are like in a final. We've got no idea. I think it'll be really tough and physical early, but I don't think either team is going to be really expansive with the footy. I think it'll be a really reserved game.
Yeah, it's you still didn't tell us who's going to win.
I think I think Melbourne. I will not tip against Melbourne at home in a final.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I agree.
So Melbourne, that is purely what I'm basing this tip on. But if I watch the game and the Dogs are in, and they win, I would sit back and go, you know what, I'm probably not surprised, but I just can't tip against Melbourne in a final at home.
Yeah. I think you nailed a few points there, Dicko. Anyway, I've said it time and time again. I think they're a better side without Pappenhausen. He was woeful last week. He was a disgrace. He actually lost them the game, to be honest with you. Some of the decisions that he made at crucial times. The Bulldogs back line, it's really unfortunate. If they were to have Sherry, Kiraz, and Montoya in the side, I'd give him actually a chance. I would give him a chance. But I just think that the back line of the Storm, provided they don't play as predictable as they have been, with the inclusion of Harry Grant, I think they'll win this and win this well. I think it'll be a 13+ to the Storm.
That's 3-0.
3-0.
Dogs are specials.
All right, Warriors and the Panthers. Really interesting team news out of Penrith. Mitch Kenny is out, and Dicko, it's his hammy, I believe.
Yes, it is. I just read that before from the NRL physio.
They reckon it's not a serious hammy though. They reckon it's only 1 week tightness. Playing it safe. I think they feel they can beat the Warriors without him.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like that.
Hammies are week to weeks though. They're generally with a hammy you will miss a week. So for him to miss a final, I think it's more than just a niggle. Like, because if he was, this is an elimination game for them. If he was touch and go, he would play, I would have thought, and you would just risk it. But maybe not. You know, Penrith have shown that they're happy to sit players out if they're not 100%. So, and they just have they're the best
and
team.
Let's be honest, he's not one of their superstars. They can get by without him.
Yeah, and you know they're the kings of the next man up mentality in terms of the Panthers, and they just bring a guy in, he just does the job. So, can I just say, firstly, the NRL have made I don't know whether either of you know this, but they've made an absolute boo-boo here. They've put this game up against the All Blacks versus South Africa.
Yeah, and the Warriors are filthy. I know that.
I mean, can you just use some common sense
in the same time slot
at NRL headquarters? Seriously.
Yeah. And the Warriors warned them that this was coming and said, "Can you give us any other time slot but this?" So what do?
Like, we are riding a wave of rugby league being that popular in New Zealand at the moment. The Warriors have had every game for about the last 18 months sold out at home. I think participation in league at a grassroots level in New Zealand is at an all-time high. You've now got people watching it all over the country. Why are we putting a game up against the All Blacks versus South Africa? That is just an absolute joke from the NRL. That's no foresight into planning or anything. Surely the broadcaster is sitting back going, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You know, I just couldn't believe it when I read that. I really think they've missed a trick, but, you know, there's clearly no common sense coming out from NRL headquarters. But in terms of the game, I don't know. I've had different thoughts on this throughout the last 24 hours. I thought Panthers were specials early. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think it's going to be really close. I think the Warriors have got something. I just have a feeling that they're just going to make it really difficult. It's going to be a really dour, difficult game for the Penrith. And if they're going to win, they're going to have to play really well. I think the Warriors, the only way they can win is if it's low scoring. They've got to keep the Panthers to 12 to 16 points because I don't think the Warriors have a lot of points in them against this Panthers defense.
I think the Warriors have really struggled, particularly in attack since Luke Metcalf went down. Yep. I don't think Tanner Boyd's the answer. Tamari Martin's not playing well either. And if you don't have a good halfback, you're not going to beat Penrith. You know, Cleary will just dominate you. And for that reason, I tip Penrith fairly comfortably, 10 points or so.
Yeah, look, obviously I'm going for Penrith, but the Warriors, the Kenny being out does concern me a little bit. I don't think people outside of the four walls of Penrith and those who follow Penrith closely realise how big of a player he is to Penrith. He always leads kick chase. He always leads the line defensively. He is the king of 1%ers. He's one of the most vocal players in the team. He's touted as one of the leaders, and I think he'll be sorely missed. I don't think the Warriors have enough to beat Penrith, but if it's wet, I'm even a little bit more worried. And it tends to be quite wet in New Zealand most of the time and dewy. If it's a dry track, I think it's game over. But if it's wet, that'll mean it's a low-scoring game. More errors creep in. Penrith will have to work just that little bit harder. If they're off a little bit and the Warriors are on, anything's possible. You know, if they got a bit of momentum with that crowd, there's no worse place to go for an away side, really.
No, I agree with you, Dizz. I agree with everything you said. I'm going to tip the Panthers purely just on finals experience. They just know how to do it. And as Molly said, we're just not sure on this Warriors attack since Metcalf has gone down injured. And I just can't see them scoring more than 16 points. So they're going to have to defend really well.
And what about poor Milky Jenkins getting dropped for Alamotti? I feel sorry for him a little bit.
I don't really understand that dropping, to be honest with you.
Well, apparently the thinking behind it is Alamotti did the job last year in the finals. Jenkins, I don't think's played finals. So yeah, it surprised me too, but that's the thinking behind it, I've been told.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're going to get into the Sharks versus the Roosters game. There's definitely mind games going on here with the team list because Britton Nicker has been named 21. And you can't tell me that he's not the best second rower of that club. There's no way in the world that he ain't playing.
So was he injured?
No, he's suspended.
Suspended, yeah.
So,
but he is back.
Yeah, he's back. He's named in 21.
He's not in.
There's no way you're selecting Billy Burns over Britton Nicker. Sorry, but I mean Billy Burns has been great. Don't get me wrong.
Scored a good try. I think the first try last week put them on their way. So.
Would you have Nickera in Molly instead of Burns?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Have you heard anything about that?
No, but as we've been alluding to, I don't pay much attention when you name 21, 22 players as to who's actually in the top 17 because, day before the game, you always get these switches. Coaches play mind games, particularly with young players, which Nakora obviously isn't. They don't want to put the pressure on a young guy who's maybe playing his first final, so they leave him out.
I can sort of understand it because Jesse Colquhoun's sort of been covering for McInnes, who's obviously a massive loss.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like, who else do you play in 13? They don't really have another lock, do they?
No.
So I'd throw Dan Atkinson in there, honestly. He'd do a job for you at 13. Extra ball player. I reckon they'd go all right with him there.
This is going to be a good game. So this is at Shark Park, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's another big talking point. The fact that you're going to get a big finals game with 16,000 max there, and people are going the Portaloos.
Yeah. Look, at least if it was a prelim, it wouldn't be there. But yeah, you're right, Moley. It's no longer a scaffolding. Well, it kind of is still. But yeah, Portaloos are.
They just need to make a decision, NRL. They just need to say to all Sydney clubs that you.
Well, the NRL owns the building next to Shark Park, and I think they also own Shark Park. So
the NRL run the final series, so they just need to make a blanket decision. If you make the finals and you have a home final, you play it at Allianz and/or Accor, whichever one, so they can.
Yeah, well, Allianz is out of play now, isn't it? Because of the surface, they're returfing it. So they're not going to have anything there right through the finals, which is again crazy. Why they couldn't wait a few weeks? Like we're out of winter now, so hopefully I know there's supposed to be rain the next couple of days in Sydney, but it should be a dry track on the weekend. So another very strange decision, but these are the things we have to live with.
So do we reckon this game is going to be close? Like, what are we thinking here? I think this could be the closest out of the lot of them, to be honest.
Yeah, very hard game to pick, isn't it? Roosters, if they put it all together, could really smash them. But Cronulla at home, they're no pushovers. And Roosters tend to have discipline problems in big games. Spencer Lanew's always a hand grenade, Lindsay Collins. Victor Radley, they're sort of the sin bin specials, aren't they? The Roosters. So, it's a tough game. I don't know who I'm tipping.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm a bit with Moley. I don't know, and I can see your face, Dizzy. You don't. I don't know whether you know either.
Like I was before when Nicho, and this is legit, right? I'm not trying to bash Nicho. I'm just being 100% raw here.
Well, you are.
I genuinely believe that if Nicho wasn't playing this game, I think they're a better chance. Poor Nicho is just got something wrong upstairs when it comes to big moments. And until I see him deliver in a big moment, my mind is not going to change on that. And for that reason, I think I might have to flip to the Roosters.
Well, it's funny because about 6 or 8 weeks ago, we spoke about the Sharks, didn't we? We spoke about their pedigree in finals and what sort of, team they are in a final. And we've seen countless times over the last couple of years, they've just fallen in a heap when it comes to, as you say, Diz, the big moments and the finals.
And Trent Robinson's experienced in finals.
Yeah,
I know the Roosters team's not.
No, but the Roosters, they just... Like, if I had to tip someone for my life, I reckon in this game I can just trust the Roosters a little bit more.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it.
I really
Yeah.
think this could come down to a golden point. I could see
Yeah.
this very close. I could see a field goal at the end. It won't be decided
I
by
would
much at
love
all,
to
I don't
see
think.
Nicho kick the winning field goal. That would be amazing. Honestly, for the Sharks and him would be remarkable. Or at least him be one of the reasons why they won the game.
Well, I think
know.
both these teams are dangerous in terms of whoever wins out of this game is going to be dangerous moving forward just because the confidence they're going to get from this win.
Mind you, I'm sure you boys thought the Bulldogs were going to beat the Sharks last week. And the Sharks proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
They were good. They were real good.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I'm in a little bit torn as well.
I'll tell you the guy we haven't mentioned who I think will win it for the Roosters and he's playing out of his skin is Teddy. He's just killing them. He's the form fullback, and there are some very good fullbacks.
Yep.
But he's just a big match player. I can see him winning the game, scoring a try or two.
What I do like about the Sharks is their unpredictability. The Roosters have become, they're a little bit ad-lib with the style of footy they play, but they still rely on Nwanganitawase, Sam Walker, Teddy. Outside of that, their flair is limited. And they're a little bit like the Storm kind of thing. Like when they're on, they're really on. But, you've seen them get belted before. Like, didn't they lose 2 weeks ago to someone they should have?
Yeah, they've Manly, I think.
Like they smashed the Storm.
Yeah.
But the week before they got done by the Eels by 20.
Yeah, Parramatta. That's what I thought. Yeah, Parramatta.
So I don't know. Honestly, it's whoever shows up on the day, isn't? I know that's cliche, but we need to really put ourselves out on the line here, boys. We're on the fence too much.
I'm going to tip the Roosters.
I'm on the Roosters.
All right, I'm going the Sharks then. Yeah. I'm going the Sharks to be different. Lock him in.
He's just bashed Nicho Hynes for the last 45 minutes. Now he's going the Sharks.
Let's pray for Nicho. That's going to be the hashtag.
Do you know what? I hope they lose, so you bash him next week even worse.
Oh, nah. Poor Nicho. At least he's playing. He got off. Now, Raiders versus the Broncos. This is hard.
Now, this is what I'm looking forward to here, lads, obviously.
Sunday Arvo. Like, okay, I get what Ricky's done, but does he realise that the point in coming first is to get the most rest? Does he realise that? Normally first plays first so that they get longer rest in between and don't have to... Because if they lose this game, they've got the shortest turnaround out of every team.
Yeah, so he's obviously...
Yeah, but he was worried about the turnaround from last week. He was worried because the Broncos would have had an advantage there. That's why he wanted some.
Well, here's one for you, boys.
Yeah, but why? He rested half his team, so why would he be concerned about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. He rested three-quarters of his team, really.
That's right. Yeah. Well, here's one for you. If they lose, they're going out in straight sets. There you go.
Yeah, agreed. And
Dicko, come on, triple down on it, son.
I can see it happening too. And we've been saying all year, they're going to fall sooner or later. And sadly, I still think they will. I think they've done a marvellous job. Full credit to Ricky, deserves Coach of the Year. But I just think the Broncos have just got so much strike power. I was talking to Zach Hosking today, had a chat to him, and he was trying to talk it up, but I could see, we started talking about some of the guys in this Broncos team, and he started saying, geez, they got a lot of firepower, don't they? And I thought, this could get ugly even.
Look, my 2 cents is winning the premiership is all about timing, right? All you have to do now is time yourself so you're playing good footy at the right time. And last week, now I'm
the Bronx on fire.
We know that I go for the Broncos. We know last week I said Melbourne would win. I didn't give Brisbane a hope of it. What they dished up last week against Melbourne was the 80-minute performance they've been trying to find for 26 weeks. And there's just a sense. I'm in Brisbane. I know you boys are in Sydney. I'm in Brisbane, and there's a sense. I went down to Red Hill actually on Tuesday. I had to pick up something down there where the Broncos train.
Oh, sure you did.
There's dead set of cast of thousands there. There's that many journos there. It's finals footy here, and you can just sense that there is an opportunity here that they've hit the finals in a great space. Now, a couple of things I wanted to put to you boys. Let's just move away from this game for a second. Both these teams will get a second chance, right? So they will play again. Brisbane will have Adam Reynolds, Ezra Mam, Selwyn Cobbo potentially, Xavier Willison, all fit. Jack Kasevsky, all fit for the next game. Do they make changes if they win this game?
Yes.
I think you got to look at the game. I think we put in the cart before the horse. Really, we got to. They might scrape home by 1 point and not be convincing. In which case, changes for sure. What if they win by 40? Then and they could. They've got the firepower to do that. So
it's just really interesting. There's been a big talking point this week in terms of because the combination of Walters and Hunt and Reece Walsh and we've all been critical of Walsh in certain times this season about overplaying his hand and his rocks or diamonds and whatever. But I've sort of stuck to it and said that he will win you a competition if you allow him to express himself, and he will make mistakes. And if you can get over the fact that he will make some mistakes, which he will make mistakes, but he'll never go missing in the next moment. He will always turn up and have a crack. Yeah. And I'd prefer having a player on my team that's going to not go missing in a moment. You talk about Nicho Hynes, Dizz. He has gone missing in moments before. He's gone away from the game. Reece is going to the game all the time, right? So the combination is working beautifully at the moment. He's almost the alpha in the team, although Hunt is getting him around the field. Everything is going through Walsh, and it's allowing the other guys to express themselves more. I think Tony Staggs is in the form of his career, but the Raiders, everyone's discounted them all year, and we're doing it again. They just keep winning. They're a bloody good team, and they're going to be bloody good at home, and they're going to have. I don't even know how many people get down to GIO.
That's 25,000.
They're going to have 25,000 Raiders supporters down there, and it's going to be parochial, and I think it's going to be physical, and it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. I'm actually confident Brisbane will win. I actually think the winner out of this could win the premiership.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be close. I actually think there's only 3 teams that can win the comp. The Broncos, the Raiders, and the Panthers. That's the only 3 teams I think can win the comp at the moment. And you guys may agree or disagree. But in this game, I actually think it's going to be 13 plus either way. I genuinely believe that it will be 13 plus either way.
Are you sitting on a fence there or what?
No, but I am going to tip the Raiders because Ricky is going all or nothing on this game. And I think psychologically the Broncos know that if they lose this game, they're a better team for it on paper. They're also away from home. Raiders fans, it's a daunting place to go with those fans.
Yeah. The ref's going to be affected, 6 against penalties.
Oh, we've got Ashley Klein.
Do you know what, though? No. I'll tell you what, if the Broncos win this game, which I hope they do, Dicko, and you know why. I'll be in Brisbane for that prelim. And if Penrith keep winning, it'll be Penrith versus Broncos in a prelim, and I'm that excited for that. But, I don't know. You're right. What you said before, Dicko, we've been writing them off, still writing them off. Said they were going to come spoon this year. They're coming first, and we're still writing them off. I don't know. I think they're rested as well, by the way.
Well, and I think they deserve the respect of being favourites. They finished first. They were the best team throughout the home and away season. As well as Brisbane are playing at the moment, I do think the respect needs to be shown to the Raiders, and I think they're deserved favourites, and I think they're going to be tough to beat. And Brisbane are going to have to play really well. They're going to have to put in a performance probably better than what they dished up against Melbourne on Thursday night.
Yeah.
right? So I
I think what I was trying to get at with the 13 plus is when the Broncos are on a roll, they're on a roll and they literally can't be stopped. Like if Reece Walsh is on
they'll beat
fire,
anyone.
like they'll literally beat anyone.
Mm.
If they're not, however, and a few mistakes creep in and Raiders get out to a, even 10-0 lead, then Broncos will be like, oh shit, I got to, take a few risks here. And I think that may backfire.
Yep.
So that's why I think either way, but
Yep.
I think it's fascinating. I think the best part about this final series is just it's all up in the air.
Mm.
Well, there's no, I don't think there's a clear favourite to winning the premiership. Like you could say last year, it'd have to take a miracle for someone to beat the Panthers.
But also, we've seen in 1 week the injuries and suspensions and whatever that you can get can affect the whole season.
Well, if we sat back and we've spoken about these games in length, if we sat back and on Sunday night and the Bulldogs have beaten the Storm, the Warriors have beaten the Panthers, and the Sharks have beaten the Roosters, or vice versa, and the Bronx have beaten the Raiders, I'm pretty sure we'll sit back and go, you know what? It's probably not that unexpected, those results, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
But
I'm not confident in any one of the 4 games, which is a good thing. It's
open. It's so open, Molly. Yeah. And you've only got to you finish in the top 4. You've only got to win 3 games now, and you win a comp.
Yeah. And this last game, this 1v4, I've seen plenty of teams lose this game and bounce back and win the comp. So, the 2 bites of the cherry really comes into play.
I'll tell you one stat. I heard it today. In the 1v4 NRL era, 1v4, 70% of the time, team number 1 has won.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that changes your tip or not, that's just a little stat there for you.
I'm going the 30% Broncos.
Love it. And Dicko, you know what? I'm impressed, mate. You are very, very upbeat about the Bronx, and I like to see it.
Well, mate, last week I was really impressed. Like, generally Melbourne are just a team that we just do not play well against, and for some reason it just clicked last week. I don't think the Broncos had an error in the first 30 minutes of the game. They were dominant. They got players that are playing with tremendous confidence. Some of these matchups are just.
Yeah, I was just looking at KO Weeks and Reece Walsh there.
Like you look at, Payne Haas and Joseph Tarpany. Is there a better matchup in the NRL than that at the finals? Maybe Adam Fanua-Blake and Spencer Leniu or James Fisher-Harris and Moses Leota.
The Bronx is since the injuries and Billy Walters dropping to 6, they're a better team defensively.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. And for all
and it's also unlocked Walsh because he's expected to do more.
Now, for all this rubbish that was spoken about 12 weeks ago that the Broncos have been worked too hard in the preseason and Madge destroyed them, guess what, boys? This is where you reap the rewards right now, and look what's happened in the last couple of weeks. So, as a particular journalist, not naming names, that I will have plenty to say if the Broncos win the premiership.
I've got a question for you, Dicko. Slightly riling you up a little bit here.
Oh, here we go.
Are the Broncos a better team without Reynolds?
No, he's in their best 17. He's in their best 7. If you're picking the best 17 Bronco players, he's in the best 17.
Yeah, I agree too. I really like Ben Hunt as a player, but if you can fit both of them in, they're a better team.
So for me, and again, this has created great discussion today in workplaces. I know in my workplace and with mates and stuff. If let's just say, well, they are going to play again, so it doesn't matter whether they win or lose. Reynolds would be my 7. I would actually move Ben Hunt to 9, and I would leave Billy Walters at 6 if Ezra Mam's not fit.
That makes sense.
That would be. Would you have Ezra at 14 as impact?
I would potentially look at Ezra as the 14, because then it gives you a bit of flexibility. You can take Hunt off, move Billy into the 9, move Ezra into the 6. You can do a lot of things with that. I do think Adam Reynolds is the halfback the Broncos need.
One thing we didn't bring up was Josh Papali'i's actually in doubt, major doubt.
Yeah, so Reece Walsh too today, but I just read before he's going to play. So
He'll play, yeah. He'll
Yeah,
play. He's in doubt every big game.
Josh
If Reece-
Papali'i, he's in a moon boot though, isn't he, Molly? Like that is
Yeah,
legit.
he is. Zach Hosking, when I was speaking to him, he reckons line ball, but the fact they've got till Sunday, they'll give him till game day and give him every chance to play.
So if he's out, does it change your tip?
Yep. 100%.
Or not yours, Molly, but does it
No.
lean you more towards the Broncos than what you may have been?
Yeah, I'm sticking Broncos either way. I think Big Parker's getting near the end. I know he's just re-signed or is going to re-sign, but I don't think he's the influence he was. You know, Tarpany, as you said, he's their main man up front now. He does the damage.
I'd be more confident with him than Morgan Smithies. No offense to
Yeah,
Morgan
that's
Smithies.
true.
And the other thing that we sort of haven't, if you're looking at the Raiders fans and ones that listen, the Raiders, they haven't played a lot of big finals recently. The team hasn't. How are they going to deal with a week off? You know, are they a team that Penrith, for instance, are used to resting players in rounds before finals and whatnot?
Well, it's kind of funny because the Raiders only had a bye like 3 weeks ago, so I don't know what Ricky was all.
Well, look at the Storm.
Strung up
Look at the Storm on Thursday night. Rested players the week before, turn up against the Broncos with a near full strength team, and dished up that. So dished up a really ordinary sort of spluttering performance. The Raiders, are they a team?
Well, they came off their
play?
bye and beat Penrith in that game at Mudgee.
Yeah. So, but again, I wouldn't say that was fantastic football.
Nah, it wasn't.
So I don't know how they will handle it. Again, this is the great unknown. It's going to be
awesome. So we're all Broncos except for Dizz, Raiders.
Yeah, okay. But no one cares who you tip, so who cares?
I think I'm 15 from 16. That's all right. The show goes on. Boys. Oh, well, it's been a pleasure. Bring on the finals footy, guys. Plenty to talk about next week, of course. And good luck to all the teams that are left.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
All righty.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Yeah, good.